Let's look at assignment number 20 practice problem. A manager of an industrial plant asserts that workers on average do not complete a job using method B as fast as they would using method A. 7 workers are randomly selected. Each worker's completion time is recorded by... So what we have is one sample and 2 measurements from that one sample. So we're finding the mean difference for matched pairs. The first thing that we want to do is find the difference for each of these workers. So for worker 1, the difference is 15 minus 16, we get negative 1. Worker 2, 21 minus 25, negative 4. And do that for each of the workers and calculate that difference. The next step is to find the mean of those differences. So if I cheat and do that for us, we get negative 1.86, and we want to find the standard deviation of those values. So again, cheating, I'm going to plug that in, we get 2.34. So now we're going to go through the steps of hypothesis testing. So we want the null and the alternate. Well, for this type of test, we are going to be testing the mean difference, and we calculate it as mu sub d. And the null is always that there is no difference, that mean is equal to 0. And the alternate is going to be about mu sub d. And from the write-up, we determine what goes in there. Well, we're looking to see if, on average, they do not complete the job using method B as fast as they would completing using method A. So that means that the difference would be negative, right? Method A minus method B would be less than 0 if A is less than B. So that is our null and alternate hypothesis. Our test statistic in general is T equal to X bar sub D, the calculated mean, minus 0, that value of 0 from the hypothesis, divided by the standard deviation of the differences over the square root of the sample size. All right, so plugging values in from our example, we get negative 1.86 minus 0 divided by 2.34 over the square root of our sample size, which is 7. And that gives us a test statistic of negative 2.103. All right, the degrees of freedom for this type of test, not as complicated for independent means. It's just simply sample size minus 1. So 7 minus 1, we're going to have degrees of freedom of 6. Okay. We're not quite ready for the manager's assertion being correct yet. We need to do step 3, which is the p-value. All right, we're going to use the online tool for p-value for a t-score. Plugging in our t-value, and it's important to know that we don't have to put the negative in. So I'm just going to do 2.103 is put the degrees of freedom in of 6, and then we want to make sure that one-tailed test is selected. So calculating, we get a p-value of 0.0400. Step 4 is our conclusion, and since our p-value is 0.04, it is less than 0.05, so we will reject the null hypothesis that there is no difference.